corporate hierarchy, number of years determined you will be a manager or a senior manager or a VP.
I don't think years of experience has anything to do with it. One of our very first team members, his name is Manish Porwal. Manish joined us as an intern from Narsi Monji School. Grew to the ranks of VP over 7 years of journey. Loginex had 4 people at that time. We had no limelight, we had no backing, and that clarity was just so impressive. Now, can I call him IC? Can I call him a manager? That's called leadership.
The corporate hierarchy, number of years determined you will be a manager or a senior manager or a VP, and people take 15-20 years to become a VP. If you see the startup culture in general, almost every other guy is a VP, right? And I believe all these designations or titles comes with a lot of responsibility. It is not just you just put a name to it, right? So how do you look at number of years in terms of experience versus a designation? So let's say 0 to 4 years work X. Is it IC? Is it a specialist or a manager? Or does not matter?
Exactly, and that's what I want to bring out. That I think somehow this IC manager and leadership, and see, even when I'm speaking it, I'm saying IC manager leader, right? I'm stacking them. I'm somehow putting leaders on the top and somehow putting ICs on the top.
And does not mean they're bad.
Exactly, but that's the narrative most people end up drawing, where they feel a junior level work must be IC. A less than 4 years level work would be IC, then 4 to 10 would be management, and then 10 to 10 onwards you become a leader, right?
Yeah.
I don't think years of experience has anything to do with it. I'll give you an example, right? So one of our very first team members, his name is Manish Porwal. Manish joined us as an intern from Narsi Monji School, right? It was literally our first year in business, and I don't even remember why we went to even Narsi Monji to hire MBAs, right? And we were just like stupid enough to do it. But we got this gem of a guy who actually, even before internship, he joined during his second semester just to get a flavor of what Loginex is. Loginex had 4 people at that time. We had no limelight, we had no backing, we had no customers, we had a product vision, we had no product itself, right? It was just like 4 months in the journey. And this guy still comes up to a small office which had like, there's 8 people in it. The office looks shabby, in a bad neighborhood of Mumbai, right? And no MBA whatsoever would ever visualize themselves doing this, right? But he showed up before even internship started. And we were scared that this guy showed up so early that he might actually be judging us and may not even join for internship, right? That's what maybe we thought, that he's evaluating us and judging us. But his true intent was to really just understand what business we are in, what we are trying to do, and how we can contribute faster, right? He had no layering of, I'm not joining as an intern and IC management. He was an MBA, so he should be doing management. Right? But of course, he was an intern, so he knew that he's not going to be having people report to him. We ourselves were 4 people company, so that's another obvious fact. But I think that's what he had crazy passion around, the core principle of the business. So we wanted to understand that in terms of why this industry, what's the problem, what is the customer looking like. Now this guy joined us and then did an internship with us. Then of course went back to finish his second year of education, joined us as a full-time manager, grew to the ranks of VP over 7 years of journey. And I think throughout his journey, he never had confusion around, or never had demands around whether he's an IC or a manager or a leader. And I think if you are beyond all these concepts, then you will naturally attract the right work, and people would love to. So he was always the guy all through years that I could pick up the phone, call for any granularity of work, right? If something stupid has broken, I would call him. When he grew up the ranks, something very strategic where I am confused about, I would pick up the call him and seek his suggestions in terms of what do you think about this. When we wanted to launch Latin America market, right? So he somehow started getting leads around Latin, and we had no plans to really have customers in Latin America because we had no idea. None of us had ever been to any Latin American country. We started getting leads, and my first person to call was Manish in terms of should we do this or not. He was the guy who actually started talking to customers, right? To do user interviews at that time when we already were doing few $1 million of revenue. So we had no real need to do user interviews, but he would quickly go deep into his work from a strategy question, would immediately go down to deep work. We'll do deep work with customers, come back with insights in just 1 week in a super structured manner, in a well-documented spreadsheet, documents, emails, and we'll have a narrative and we'll have a conclusive call to action in terms of what he thinks we should do. And that clarity was just so impressive. Now, can I call him IC? Can I call him a manager? He was good at documentation. He organized.
It's almost a leader, right?
He was,
in its own way.
and he influenced my decision making with that work. That's called leadership.